Hello students, we have seen up to what is an ARM architecture, and in ARM A and R profiles, how about your register banks, everything, and the modes of operation. Similarly, ARM M profile also we have seen the two different modes, and what are all the register set involved in your ARM M profile also we have discussed in the earlier lectures. And now we are going to program or write program by using your ARM 7. So for writing a program, we need a set of instructions to be written for performing an operation. So we will deal with those instructions, namely your data transfer instructions, arithmetic, logical instruction, multiply, branch instruction, load store and swap instruction. So by using these instructions, how we can write a program. Before going into detail of programming using ARM, we have to study the instruction set. And before entering into your ARM core instruction set, let us discuss about the ARM core data model. So ARM core data model, so the structure will be like this. You have an instruction decoder. So the instruction decoder, we know instruction decoder will decode the instruction and tell the ARM core that what operation it has to perform. And sign extend box, see, box represent your operation or storage unit. The sign extend box is used for the sign number, for the extension of digits in case of your sign number. And in case of your register file, for example ARM 7 A and R has 7 different modes of operation, and each modes will be having 15 registers that you know from R0 to R15. So you may place the data from R0 to R12, because 13, 14, 15 is used as your PC linker register and so on. Okay. So, and the stack pointer, linker register and the program counter. Program counter is your R15. So we will be using Rn and Rm are the two data, are the operands. Okay, you have a barrel shifter. This I'll tell you what it is used for when we are coming across the instruction. So the arithmetic operations will be performed using your ALU. Okay, and the result will be, again it can be saved in the register file, and the address, after performing the current operation, your address register will be incremented. Okay, and again the instruction will be fetched, the same operation will be performed again and again. And you have a MAC unit which is said to be multiply accumulate unit. This will be used for doing your multiplication operation. Okay, and then this ARM core will be following this von Neumann architecture. What is that von Neumann implementation is? Data and instructions both share the same bus. You don't have Harvard architecture. Harvard architecture means you have a separate data and the instruction bus. Okay, but here data and instruction will share the same bus. Okay. This is about the ARM core, the data flow model, how the data will be flowing inside your ARM core. Okay. Let me go ahead the instruction set. With the instruction set, there are two main instruction set in your ARM 7. That is your ARM and thumb. Okay, and you know already it can operate in two modes, ARM mode and thumb mode. Okay, for those two modes you have separate instruction set. Most of the functionality available are identical in both of these states, internal states, namely your or your instruction sets, maybe your ARM and your thumb. And most 16-bit instructions can only access ARM core low registers R0 to R7. Okay, that you need to remember. A small number of 16-bit instructions can also access the higher register R8 to R15. Operations that would require 2 or more 16-bit instructions can be more efficiently executed with a single 32-bit instruction. And then ARM and thumb instruction set, it can work interwork freely. Okay, that is, different procedures can be compiled or assembled to different instruction set. and still be able to call each other efficiently. And you have one more variant, that is of thumb, that is nothing but your thumb WE is a variant of thumb instruction set that is designed as a target for dynamically generated code. Okay, but this thumb WE version cannot interwork freely with the thumb and your ARM instruction sets. Okay. So processor instruction set and your state change. Okay. So you have thumb state, as I said, and you have ARM state, and how you can now change your states from thumb to ARM and ARM to thumb. So processor in ARM state execute ARM instruction that we know, and processor in thumb instruction will execute your thumb. In thumb state, it will execute your thumb instruction. A processor in thumb state can enter into ARM state and vice versa by executing any of the following instructions. These are all your branch instructions, VX, BLX, or load instructions, LDR, LDM. This is load register, load memory that loads the PC. So in ARM V7, few more instructions will be supporting for interchanging between these two states. They are these instructions, namely ADD and ADC and ASR, like that. Okay. So coming to your instruction set of ARM. So type of instructions, you have 32-bit instructions, you have 16-bit instructions. 32-bit instruction is for ARM state and 16-bit instruction is for your thumb state. And what are all the features of your ARM 7 instruction set? So you have a load store architecture, and you know that what is mean by load store architecture. You have load and store process in your memory and in the memory. Okay, you can load data from the memory into the register, and you can store data into the memory from the register. So that is said to be your load store architecture. Okay, only you have certain instructions related to your load and store instructions. Those instructions only can access your memory. Okay, can access memory. And you have 3 address data processing instruction. Okay, 3 address data processing instruction. So this is your syntax for your instruction. For example, for the instruction or the syntax for the instruction. So if you look ahead with this, so you have an opcode. So already we know an instruction can be classified into opcode and operand. Opcode is nothing but your operational code. Operand is nothing but your data. Any instruction can be classified like this. You have opcode and the operand. So opcode is nothing but your operation code. So the syntax will be, you will be having an opcode, and in the bracket you have represent your condition. Okay. So in here in ARM 7, you can even represent the condition, right? Like for example, add EQ. There is an instruction like this. So add equal. Okay, add equal. So this is the condition. So when this EQ is represented, it will go and check for your Z flag in your CPSR. If only if that is 1, it will perform this operation, addition operation. What is that operation? Addition operation. It will perform this operation. So such a sort of conditions can be included in the instruction. So opcode, condition, and S. S is nothing but after performing the addition, update your CPSR. Update your flags. Update your flag. Set your flag. See, set the condition flags in CPSR. Condition represents first test the condition and go for the operation. Okay, test the condition. What is this condition? Equal. Check your Z flag, Z flag. Only when that is 1, do the operation, namely your addition. S is nothing but after performing this addition operation, set your flags in your CPSR register, current program status register. Okay, and we have discussed just now, it is a 3 address data processing instruction. So what is that? 3 address data processing. See, you have one register called the destination register, and one it can be a source register Rn, and again you can represent n. Okay, you can represent this n. You can represent 3 different datas. I mean 3 different datas in the sense, I should not say data, and 3 different register. For example, Rd may be the destination register. Let it be R1. Rn may be the source register, let it be R0. N can be an immediate value, N can be in an immediate value, let it be an immediate value. So for these 3 things, you have 3 address. R1 will have an address, R2, R0 will have an address. Immediate operand, you are specifying as an immediate operand. That is also a part of the instruction. That is also a part of the instruction. Okay. And so this is your three addressing operands. You may represent 3 operands here. This can be an immediate value, or this can also be a register. This can also be a register. If I am representing one more register, namely M or whatever like that. So for these 3 registers, each of these registers will be having a separate address, right? So that is what they mean to say here. 3 address data processing instruction. They have a 3 address data processing instruction, and you have conditional execution of every instruction. What is that conditional execution? Just now I have discussed. Only if your Z flag is equal to 1, Z is equal to 1, add equal, perform this operation addition. So that is said to be conditional execution. Do your execution only the condition is satisfied. And then possible to combine shift and ALU operation in the single instructions. What is that? Okay, I will come across this. About your conditional execution we have discussed. We have to see this possible to combine shift and ALU operation in single instruction. So that is what I am going to explain with the example here. So here, see, shift and ALU in single instruction, ADDS. S, if you represent S means you need to update your CPSR register after this operation, namely your addition. So ADDS, that is what given here. Okay, S is nothing but set condition flags in CPSR. Okay, add S, R0, R1, R2, LSL is nothing but logical shift left by 3-bit position. Okay, this is the instruction. So what is the meaning here is, you are using, see, this is a 3 address instruction. You are using R0 register, R1 register and R2 register. Along with that, you are representing this also. Now you are combining your shift and the logical operation, okay. And here, see, R2 register. Let me assume that R0, we know this is the destination. This is the destination register. R0 is the destination register. R1 and R2 are the source registers. Okay. You need to add R1 and R2, and you need to store this result in the R0. Okay. That is what given. And before addition, what you need to do? You need to, whatever data that is available in R2, you need to logically left shift by 3. Okay, let us assume this R1 register is having 02. Okay, R1 register is having 02. R2 register is having 05. As per this instruction, okay, R2, whatever content that is available in R2, left shift that content by 3. Okay, left shift that content by 3. So left shift by 3 is equivalent to multiplying this R2 content into 8. Multiplication is all hexadecimal multiplication. Keep that in mind. Okay, let me assume this R1 is equal to 02 and R2 is equal to 05, and it's a 32-bit register. All the registers are 32-bit register. So let me write first, before adding the content, I need to left shift the R2 content by 3-bit position. Okay, that involves your carry flag also. Assume your carry flag to be 0. Assume your carry flag to be 0 here. And then you are going to, along with the carry, with the carry, you are going to left shift by 3-bit positions. Okay. So what is that? It is 0, 5. What is 0, 5? The least significant bit is 0, 5 is 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. You need to left shift this 0, 1, 0, 1 by 3 bit position. If you left shift this 1, 0, 1 will come like this, like 1, this, it will occupy this bit position, 1, 0, 1, because you have shifted 3 bit positions left. You need to fill this by your 0, 0, 0. Okay, you need to fill this, that is your logical shift left. That is your logical shift left by 0, 0, 0. All the operations, arithmetic operations here, that too your logical shift left thing will be like this. Other shift operations we will discuss while you are taking your data processing instructions. So here you have moved this logically left by 3 bit position. So this will be 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, which is equivalent to, so before execution it will be like this. So after shifting this R2 register by 3 bit position, this will be equivalent to 00. So keep in mind 1, 0, 0, this pair is representing 8 bits. Similarly, this is the second 8 bit, third 8 bit and the fourth 8 bit. So 4 8s are 32. So now this is 8, first 8, second 8, third 8 and the fourth 8. So fourth 8 is nothing but now 2 and 8. 2 and 8. So this is equivalent to 5 hex into 2 power 3 hex, which is also equivalent to 28 hex. You check with your calculator. So now we have shifted it. Now the result of R2 is 28. Add this R1 and R2. R1 is 2 and R2 is 28. So 02 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 and 28 is again 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. When you add this 0, 0, 1, 0 and 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 is 8. So 0, 0, 1, 0 is 2. So this is first 8 bit, second 8 bit, third 8 bit, fourth 8 bit. So the result, this is the result that will be saved in your R0 register. See here, this addition is performed in the arithmetic and logic unit, ALU unit. Okay, R1 and R2 addition will be performed here. And in the same instruction itself, you are using the shift operation also. This shift operation will be performed in the barrel shifter. I have said one unit in the ARM core model. I hope you remember that. I will show you again. See here, you have a barrel shifter. This is the barrel shifter. So this barrel shifter will do this logical left shift operation, and then it will give the result R2, okay, result R2 to the ALU unit. R1 is already there. Then you have an addition here, okay. Then you will do the addition here, and then you will be saving it in the R0 register, okay. So the barrel shifter performs that shift operation, okay. So in this instruction, what you have done, you have done an ALU operation also, and you have done the shift operation also, all in a single instruction. That is also one of the important features of your ARM7 instruction. And a single cycle execution. See, all the operations is performed within a cycle, one machine cycle of execution, okay. And then instruction set extension through coprocessor instruction. See, you can if ARM core is the master, you can also have many number of slaves, sub processors that can be connected to the ARM, and even you can write program and execute program in your coprocessor also, that is connected to your ARM core. So this instruction set can also be extended to your coprocessor instruction also. That is what they mean to say, okay, right. And we have discussed about the syntax for an instruction, and then we have discussed about your shift and ALU in a single instruction. And this is your from the technical reference manual of ARM7 TDMI. I took this. So here the format of the instruction, every instruction you have different sort of instruction, shift, addition, move, and then ALU operation, like that. Each of this format will be like this. This is for your thumb state. So 16 bit instruction. So instruction, you have a source register, destination register, you can also have an offset, okay, and opcode, and the 3 bits, that is for your move, and 14, 15 is set to 0 for your move. And similarly you have different instruction format for each and every instructions that we will deal when we are dealing with each of the instruction set, okay. And what are the types of instruction set? So ARM7 has different types of instruction set, namely data processing instructions, branch instructions, load store instructions, software interrupt instructions, program status register instructions, and coprocessor instructions. So before going into detail of these each instruction classification and what are all the instructions that is available, let us see the addressing modes. What is meant by addressing modes? The way in which we are going to access the operand, or the way in which we are going to specify the operand in an instruction is said to be instruction addressing mode. In an instruction is said to be addressing mode. ARM again has different addressing modes. The summary of addressing modes are given here. Different addressing modes in ARM7 processor. So you have three different basic addressing modes that we already know. We have read from the 8051 architecture, which is nothing but register addressing mode, immediate addressing mode, and memory. Memory again direct and indirect. And in your indirect addressing mode, you have register indirect, based, indexed, and base indexed. Okay. And these addressing modes we will see in detail with an example in the upcoming lecture series. So today I have discussed about the different set of instruction classification of ARM7 processor, and what are all the different states that an ARM processor can operate with. Two different states, namely ARM and thumb. And ARM will be 32 ARM state. If it is working in ARM state, it will work with the 32-bit instruction, and thumb state means 16-bit instructions. And how you can switch over from ARM state to thumb state by using which instructions, even in ARM7. And later, what are all the features of your ARM instruction set, and by using your instructions, what are all that we can do, namely your it's a 3 addressing operand, shift and ALU can be done, and the same thing you can extend your operation to even for coprocessor, and single cycle execution, separate instruction set for your load and store for accessing your memory, namely your load and store instructions. And finally we have seen what is meant by addressing mode and what are the different classification of addressing modes, and we haven't seen the examples that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.